free institutions in many ways. There are a lot of things wrong with them, but don't want to exaggerate. But among the institutions of the society, these are perhaps the most free. And that's particularly true of the sciences. In the sciences, you just can't institute external controls and expect them to survive. You could see that in the old Soviet Union. Biology couldn't survive under external controls. The sciences are based on, they're basically anarchist in the sense that I was describing before. Students are expected in a good scientific university or courses. They're not expected to just repeat what they were told. They're expected to challenge. In fact, a lot of the new ideas, innovation comes from that. So a student's expected to say, I don't believe what you're saying, and here's an argument to the contrary. That's good. That's what you try to encourage. And if you didn't try to encourage that, the sciences would die. So there's a kind of like a built-in dynamic that kind of frees them up. It doesn't mean that they're going to go to the point of raising questions about the use of technology in science. No, they didn't. And in fact, they're classic, crazed examples of this, which people should think about. So take, say, creating the atom bomb. There were two main institutions in the United States, Chicago and Los Alamos. Chicago, they were basically constructing, the materials. In Los Alamos, they were turning it into a weapon. Now you go to places like Chicago and Los Alamos, they had some of the most outstanding intellectuals in the world. These were, many of them European emigres who were, the Einstein types. Very impressive people, cultured, literate, many of them what we would call pretty radical, interested in music, the arts, thinking about things. They were working in closed environments in which about the only thing that they pursued was how to carry out huge, massive destruction in Japan. They were pretty sure they were never going to use it in Germany. In Japan, which might end the human race, because they weren't really sure. And it was single-minded pursuit of that objective. Now, if you look closely, the first protests, questioning, came out of Chicago, not Los Alamos. And the reason was that the Chicago phase of the operation was completed earlier. They were providing the materials, and of course that was prior to turning it into a weapon. And it wasn't until their phase of the scientific activities was over that some of them began to raise questions about what in the heck are we doing? And things like the Pugwash movement and so on grew out of that. At Los Alamos, it didn't happen until after the bomb went off, literally. And when they began reflecting about it later, there was a lot of justified self-criticism. Here you had, the most amazing group of intellectuals you could imagine, lots of broad interests, all sorts of things, and they were single-mindedly pursuing highly dangerous, maybe potentially lethal activities, not just for the victims, but even beyond, without thinking about it. Well, that can happen too. And the question about what a university can be, or what academic life or free intellectual life can be, these questions always arise. You can get